Hey, yo, Ran, turn that up.
Better learn how to bleed the blood of your whole body. Stay in the spirit. Cause Satan could use you if you let him. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my energy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my energy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. He been on my line since a younger was a child. Had me shooting guns, popping pills, smoking loud. I'm the main event, but I was following the crowd. Wish I would've known what I know right now. Mama ain't raised me like this. Had her yelling in the house like, where in the hell we go wrong? Mama and them curses couldn't leave us alone. We made an oath to the one on the throne. Them angels was with us, was never alone. Mercy and grace coming straight from the throne. When this was missing, I made it back home. Never had to give me alone. He had to open my eyes, I had to put down my pride. Boy, I'm so lit, I'm alive. We gon' follow the Messiah. We gon' follow the Messiah. Messiah, I'm a lick, a bond, Messiah, Messiah, I'm a lick, Yahweh by Simba Messiah. Ooh. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my energy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. You cannot win, I see your trickery. We at the end, ain't none of that get to me. Confessing my sin, I'm watching my energy. Scripts in my head, it hit me like Kennedy. I know the devil is trying to get rid of me. Walking the spirit, so that mean I'm killing me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me. Get it behind me, I don't want you feeling me.
Hallelujah. Blessed and highly favored. I love myself as well as my neighbor. Enjoy peace and love, yet I'm nothing to play with. Y'all running with the latest, what I believe is sacred. Our Father in heaven gave us eyes to see, to make distinctions between the psyops and the prophecies. I'm from a place where they downplay your atrocities, give you milk and cheese and never pay the proper fees. My brother's trying to calm the beast by copping pleas, but the only place the beast want the sheep is in his teeth. Father, forgive them for they know not what they do, but don't mistake, that's for the sheep who fell away, that's not for you. A wolf knows he ain't in the dark about his plans. He coming for the flock, he want that blood on his hands. Wants your throat not to breathe. In the lake of fire, he wants you to go beneath. Praying on you until your flesh, he wants you to sow a seed. Deferred hope maketh the heart sick. Yeah, Satan love it when you deceive. Disparaging remarks about our heritage and false narrative that said there's no merit to what we read, man. That gaslight like a flashlight. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. Y'all need to get that bag right. Wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. One hell of a ticket, pun intended. Don't you say I cussed. We've been through enough, 400 plus. Our time is up. Take off these cuffs. I've been in repentance for this lust. Not with the porn, but I can swipe up an image and feel disgust. What? They think I'm tripping cause I want more for myself, so that even in my thoughts I'm not whoring myself, yeah. Luring myself away from righteousness with my desire. My right hand mislead me, cut it off like Michael Myers. Life is easy, it's just complicated by these liars. Truth is confiscated, to get it you need the God of Zion. They confuse the sheep with disbelief and self-reliance. Took the Father's name off creation and blamed the science. Hebrews never boarded but still became compliant. Mission aborted, some of us refuse to slay this giant. That talking head should be severed off and dead. Bring us Pentecost instead, let's start speaking with tongues of fire. Ain't wanna preach to us, now the preaching coming from the choir. Y'all too corporate, tell me how does the preacher retire? I see y'all done bought the lies and y'all receipt expired. From the Holy Spirit, I don't never want no peace and quiet. The sheep hear the word of the most majestic, wonderful counselor, blessed voice of the shepherd. Meanwhile, all of the goats are disconnected, lawless, trading the promise of the blessed for a death wish.
All right. Shalom, 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 y'all. Shalom. It is Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat. And as you can see, we have a great show for you today. We have Elder Rob Mathis here. Shalom, Elder Rob. Welcome to the show.
Bless all of Israel. Shalom to the redeemed. Redeemed. Bless all of Israel.
All right. And we have a good show today. What we're going to be talking about is basically Elder Rob's life. He's led a very unique life, to say the least. And we're just going to, go through different phases of his life chronologically and just really tie it into to the word and see what we can glean from some of the unique experiences Elder Rob has had in his life. So with that said, I want to do a quick sound check. I want to see how the audio is. So if y'all can, in the comments, let me know how the audio is. I think I need to turn my mic down a tad, but y'all let me know. And with that said, we're gonna get rolling on this thing. I'm gonna wait. Yep, everybody's saying that it's a 10, so it is a go. So, just briefly, as y'all know, Elder Rob Mathis, he had a very successful career in the NFL. Played many seasons in it, highly awarded, and we're going to definitely get into all that. Has a Super Bowl ring, won the Super Bowl. So by the world's stance from a stance from the world, he is very successful, and we're gonna really go through all that. But the way I wanted to start out, Elder, is just really start out from the beginning. Okay, you as a child and your life, then your family, and how were things in the beginning for you?
Bless you. So yeah, I'm the youngest of six. Grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, southeast Atlanta, Georgia. Was known as, they call them Grady babies. So there was the hospital in Atlanta, Georgia, which basically all the hood people were born in. So very humble beginnings. Not a whole lot there besides we had to bite, scratch for everything. Came up in the welfare system, the Atlanta public school system. So my three sisters, they lived in the projects. One was notably called The Bluff. That was in southwest Atlanta. Very popular project, hood, ghetto area. Another one was Campbellton Road. That was another like southwest. I grew up southeast, so we used to call it at the time. It was Little Vietnam, southeast Atlanta. Not the best situation to come up in, but all the same, that was my path. So I thank y'all for it, and it shaped me and shaped my mind, my mindset for where it is today. So everything that was supposed to happen, it happened. So I thank y'all for it.
Now, growing up in in that type of environment, in a impoverished environment, did you spend a lot of time in the house, or were you out with friends in the streets? How'd you grow up?
Well, I grew up in the neighborhood, so we was out, not in the streets, as far as like running the streets or whatnot. It was just outside playing sports with your homeboys. It was more neighborhood oriented, not a gang environment, but just being outside. But then the older you get, the more you have that tug of the hustle and grind, and having to make money, having to provide, and having to do what you're supposed to do, what you can do to survive. My older brother, he was, as you call him, a street man, a street NIGGA. So I know people that understand what I'm saying when I say that. And there was always that thought to follow him, because growing up, you see him pocket full of money, the cars with the rims, and the females that was attached to that. But it was always something that deferred or just pulled me away from that. So whenever I did get enticed or tempted to follow that, something would happen that would discourage me from following him or listening to him. So, and I understand what it is now, and that's Yah. Yah had his hand on me the whole time, and he just kept my mind in a place where I didn't want to disappoint my mother. So therefore, grew up in the church, obviously, and it was just always doing right to try to please her. But it turned out for the better. So
Right.
I just really thank y'all for ordering my steps, and because it could have went way worse, and I couldn't not be here if I did listen to the temptation at the time.
And you said you grew up. I know we were talking before the show, and you talked about church was a big part of your upbringing. And even though these churches aren't fully in the truth, do you feel at some point the Most High was dealing with you in any way while you were going to church?
Yeah, a lot, because it was a lot of questions I had in my mind.
Okay.
Naturally, church is tradition. It's the worship of tradition. Because my mama did it, because her mama did it, and her mama did it. Not necessarily the men, the patriarchs in my family, because they were just busy getting drunk and doing whatever they wanted to do, being Rolling Stones, things like that. But I always had questions. Anything that the preacher talked about, and the only thing I could comprehend was the first 10, 15 minutes before they start getting into the hot and all that stuff, man. So after that, I couldn't understand what the hell he was talking about. But I would read the Bible from what I could understand, and it just simply did not align with what the preacher was saying. This Bible and what he's saying, it doesn't align. So I would ask my mother, and I just couldn't get answers. So my whole life growing up, I had questions. And it was one time I was 17, 18 years old, and I had a talk with my mother. I said, yeah, I believe in God, but I got a lot of questions. And she hit the roof, man. Like, don't you question God and A, B, and C? It's like, I believe in God. I just got questions. I don't know any other way to put this. And he say, don't gossip and backbite, but we would get in the car right after service, and you would sit with your friend and do just what I'm reading in the Bible that says not to do. So what's up? And I've always been a person that would just say what needed to be said. May not be the right time to say it, but I always said it what was on my mind. So just that whole time, just with Christianity and raising a church, it just set me up for now. And coming across Straightway and Pastor Dowell, he answered so many questions that I never asked him.
Right.
And let you know it was led by the Spirit. So
Right.
I just thank y'all for calling me into this truth, because it's so many questions that got answered without me even asking them, and that was just Spirit led.
Right. Going back to your youth, so one of the things I heard you say is from a very young age you were out. I guess there were a lot of children in the neighborhood, so you spent a lot of time playing outside. And I guess all types of sports or just football?
It was all types. Baseball, basketball, football. We come up with little hood games. 21 tip out, sideline, throw up tackle. Just a bunch of just stuff to just occupy our times. And when we're not playing sports, we was fighting each other. And then after that, it was all good. So that was the bulk of my childhood. I moved a lot. So I would say I moved about 12 times in my childhood.
In the same general neighborhood, kind of?
No. So I stayed in every part of Atlanta that you can think of. That's actual Atlanta. So it was a Southeast Atlanta, Southwest Atlanta, East Point, College Park, Decatur, Jonesboro, and it was just pretty much all over the east side of Atlanta. So we moved every like 2 or 3 years, and so that kind of I was used to being after like three or 4 years. All right, time to pick up and move. So, but that was pretty much my childhood.
And one of the things I know me and you had talked about this before. You were saying some of the games y'all would play outside, and one of the ones that made me go, that's why he's so, like, when he got in the NFL, that's why he was already prepared for that. But one of the games you said you used to play was tackle football on the concrete or on the pavement. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So growing up, many people call it different things. What you want to call it, sideline bust or throw up tackle or throw them up, beat them up type deals. But you would play. It would be children. you would put that picture up. Huh? It would be the young boys playing alongside grown men. So I was used to playing tackle football on the concrete with grown men. I was 5, 6, 7 years old, and grown men would play too. You got to tackle their ass, so you got to get them down. So I was used to that rough and rugged upbringing, the childhood, and as far as football, it helped me with toughness and the mindset of not being scared of anybody. It's okay, I can see that you're bigger than me, but you have to show me that you're better than me, type of deal.
Nice. That's good. And that I guess that was one of the benefits of you spent so much time around boys out there playing, kind of knowing what the limits were, pushing the limits, being challenged at a very young age, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Everything is just is really a show me. You got to show me attitude, because we like to talk a lot of trash growing up. Everybody got catchphrases and all this stuff, but in the end, it's, as you say, footwork. What is your footwork going to show me? So that's ultimately what I'm concerned with.
Okay. So we were talking before the show, and what was interesting to me is that you didn't play football, organized football, until high school. Talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't start playing organized football until the 10th grade, because simply we couldn't afford it. Growing up, you would have to pay some money up front to play little league football or whatever it was, and we just simply couldn't afford it. So by the time I got to high school, 10th grade, that's when it was free. Just come out, hey, and they give you a jersey, because we simply didn't have a lot of guys that really wanted to play football. So hey, they gave me jersey jersey number 86, and it was so stank, but I was happy, man. It was like they gave me number 1, man. I was just happy to play football because I was raised ever since I was a child, 4 years old. I always said I wanted to play football, and I finally had the opportunity to play actual organized football, although I didn't know anything about it besides watching on TV. Barry Sanders and Jesse Tuggle and Deion Sanders were the guys that I knew. That's all that I knew about football because I watched it on TV. But the second I had the opportunity to play, I enjoyed it to the max. And a lot of the friendships that I formed was because of football, and a lot of the lessons that I learned in life, as a heathen, obviously, was due to football.
Now, in the time between that, because by the time you were in 10th, you were in 10th grade, but in the time in between that, what were you doing to stay out of trouble, or you just knew to just stay clear of the temptations of the streets and stuff like that?
Well, a lot of that was you go to school, come home, and just be in the neighborhood. Really didn't deviate too much outside of that. I have a really, really big family, so a lot of that time I would go to my sister's house because I had nieces and nephews that I grew up with. They're within 5 years of my age, so it was more so being a big brother to my nieces and nephews. So I was around them a whole lot. So I really, like I said, I was moving and shaking a lot over my sister's house, and man, between my mother and my brother and myself moving and being in different parts of the city, I was just around family a lot until we just really just settled in, and which was like 9th, 10th grade. I started playing sports, and then now it was off and running. I didn't want to have much of anything to do with anybody outside of football.
So you started playing your 10th grade year. You had to learn the game. How'd you do when you started out? And what position did you play?
I was terrible. I was ass, man. That's just to be the blunt, honest truth. They told me to get a linebacker. I didn't know what a linebacker was. So I went from linebacker to fullback. I didn't know what a fullback was. So I'm going in there and I'm getting blown up on the scout team. And I don't know what the heck is going on, but at the same time,
Now, what do you mean? Because I don't know a lot about football either, but what do you mean blown up on the scout team?
Getting knocked on your ass. You put pads on and they tell you to go right here, not telling you that you're on scout team.
What scout team?
Scout team is the look team. It's scrubs. You're the
people trying to make the team.
Yeah, people trying to make the team, but you're there to demonstrate, to give the actual unit a look. So if I'm on scout team offense, I'm there to give the look to the defense. So they're going to tell you to go this particular place, and they're going to send somebody there to knock your ass out. But they didn't tell you. They don't tell you this type of stuff. So it's almost like it's earning your stripes, just to see how tough you are, just to see your football IQ, your mental capacity, and fortitude, just to see if you can handle this stuff. So they're going to test you out the gate. And so I just wanted to play football. I love playing football. So they would knock me down, I'd get up. So I'm processing all this stuff. So the next time they call this particular play, I'm going to be ready. And they're going to send that guy in that particular gap. So now I'm ready to engage in this guy. So that's called mental reps. I'm real big, especially the Goshenites. They know here in Goshen, they know one thing about Elder. He's going to say mental reps. So I'm going to take that, process that, and then just be better the next time around.
You're not gonna be beating your head against a wall expecting different result. You
Yeah,
you figuring this thing out.
yeah. I'm not gonna send myself on a dummy mission. All it takes is one time, maybe two. After that, I've learned my lesson, and so we can approach whatever I need to approach in like fashion after that.
So you were on the scout team your whole first year, or how did that progress forward?
Well, yeah. So 10th grade, they call it what, B team or junior varsity, junior varsity. So the varsity team is like 11th and 12th graders, and anybody younger than that or based on skill level, they're going to put you on scout team, JV, or B team, and that's just you're giving the older guys a look. So it's practice. You're the practice guys, practice squad, or whatnot, and so whatever they tell you to do, you just do it. Because it's really just earning your stripes.
So that was your first year was scout team.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And,
sir.
and then your 11th grade year, how'd that go?
So my 11th grade year, they moved me to defensive end, and it was like, you know how you just put a glove on that's the right size, the right fit. It just clicked. This is where I'm supposed to be. I don't care that I'm 4 or 5 inches shorter than what I'm supposed to be at this position. This is where I'm supposed to be. So that's when really football really took off for me. I started having success because he's like, put your hand in the dirt. Pastor Muir says this: get in your stance, put your hand in the dirt, and fire off. And I can do that. I could put my hand down, the ball move, I can fire off. And that's just doing the little things over and over and over until you become good at it. And we call that stimulus response. And that's doing something so much that you don't even have to think about it. It's just natural. It's just an innate ability to just somebody could touch your shoulder, your right shoulder, you know how to move, your left shoulder, you touch your hip and just stuff like that. So you know exactly what to do because you've done it so much. And that's really stimulus response.
And you figured that out for the most part in your 11th grade year,
Yeah,
or you began to figure that.
it was more so the introduction. And so
Okay.
the older I got after that, being in the spot that I was comfortable with, I was able to learn because, honestly, we learn stuff that we're interested in. If it's like math, I was never a big math guy. So
Right.
I'm gonna do what it takes to survive, to get through this class for this year. But if it was social studies or English, I was interested in English and social studies. So you tend to thrive in the things that interest you.
Okay. So by your 12th grade year, were you were you like the hottest player on the team, or?
Well, it's funny because the coach, his son played for the team. My senior year was his senior year as well. And so more people that understand how that goes is the coach is going to put his son in position to be successful. And at the detriment of everybody else, he's going to push everybody else down. So during my senior year, my high school coach was telling the college scouts that I wasn't going to pass the SAT, ACT. And that was really more so to prop up his son. Although, like, I was doing what I was doing as far as, team wise, stats wise, and production, it was about his son. So in order for his son to be out there more, he had to push the other guys down. And lo and behold, I was fortunate enough to score way higher than he thought I would on the SAT, ACT. And so that year going into college, I had no offers but one. That was Alabama A&M.
Wow.
Yeah, I had one offer to HBCU, Alabama A&M, and that was really because the guy that they wanted during that National Signing Day your national signing day, he turned them down.
He
And
turned the coach's son down?
no. The coach's son went to Citadel, which is I know that you know about that school. It's a military college or something like that, in which he flamed out in less than a year because he was smoking and doing all this dumb stuff at a military college. But the college that I attended, Alabama A&M, they offered another guy the scholarship, and he turned him down on National Signing Day. He signed with another college, and they just so happened to have one scholarship left, excess. And so they offered it to me, and I took it. So, all you need is an opportunity, right? And
Right.
I live my life. Look, just give me an opportunity, a shot, and let me earn my stripes. And that was something that growing up, the streets of Atlanta, just let me earn my stripes, man. I'm used to playing with older guys, bigger guys, and so it's about footwork. It's about just show me better than tell me.
So, so you, and it was a full ride scholarship?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Not this whole whatever shit going on now with the Neil. It's Neil and paying guys under the table. So they pay for your school, pay for your books, pay for your tuition, and all right, there you go.
Now, so you go to Florida. I'm sorry. You go to Alabama
Hey, man, hey, look here, Mike. Tighten up, man.
So you go to Alabama A&M, and so you got a scholarship. You're automatically on the starting team, and that's how it works. Or
No, sir.
what's the process coming into a college like that?
So every level that you go, you have to start from the beginning. You have to prove yourself. So high school, I just started playing 10th grade. Mind you, guys have been playing football since Pee Wee, Pop Warner, 5, 6 years old. So you're already behind the 8 ball in that regard. So you get to college, you're a freshman now. Everybody was that guy on the previous level. So high school, I was the leader of the team. So now you go to college, they're leaders on the team already. And you're a freshman, you're 18 years old, and now the team is grown men on this team now. So you have to go and prove yourself. So my freshman year, it was still, who is this little scrawny guy that's around these big defensive ends? These guys are 6'3", 6'4", and you have to hold your weight. And so midway through the season, the 2 guys in front of me, I was third string. So I was third string. So there were 2 guys in front of me that played. They both got hurt, so they had to play me. And I go in the game, I make a few plays, but they thought it was a fluke, aberration or whatnot. So they just kept, the opposite team kept running at me. So I was, able to make a play or two. And so they left me out there. So when these guys got healthy, they couldn't get their jobs back. So, it was just, you had to earn your stripes. And so, like I said, I was in a position, and it kind of sets up for, like, now being in the faith. And I thank Yah for the path that he put me on, because it's a road less traveled. Not a whole lot of people want to, the path of, people like to go the path of least resistance. And I wasn't in position to do that. So I thank Yah for it. And I really appreciate the here and now.
Right. When you were in Alabama A&M, you played the same position as you
Yes,
played,
sir.
and how did you get better at it when
Well,
you got
that was-
there before they started playing you? When you were third string, what did you do to get better at that position?
Well, I watched the guys in front of me. So whatever they were being told to do, I listened to the instruction being given. And then after that, I applied the instruction that was given. So by the time it got to me, I know what to do. So now it's a matter of when it's my time, just responding to the bell. That goes right in line with the story. We got Frogman here. So when we do training, he would call Pastor. Naturally, Pastor Muir will go first after Frogman demonstrates first, of course. Then naturally it would be me after that. But I would try to get Brother Lee, Deacon Samuel, everybody to go before me because I'm trying to get mental reps. So by the time Frogman calls me, I know exactly what to do, how to do it, how to manipulate weapons, do everything that I do, everything that I know to do by watching the examples in front of me. And just like in the ministry, Pastor Dowell, you watch Pastor, how he walks, his manner of life, and then I'm behind Pastor Muir. And so by the time it gets to me, or if I need to tell or give instruction to any saints, I know exactly what to do. But in regards to football, it was, okay, the guy in front of me, do this, A, B, and C. The guy behind him, do A, B, and C. So now it's my turn. I'm going to do it because I know what to do. So you're able to execute at a high capacity when you know what to do. Now it's about just being willing to do it.
Now, what year was this that the two guys ahead of you got hurt? That was your first year?
So it was my freshman year, but they were junior and senior.
Okay.
So the starter, he was a junior. Yeah, he was a junior. And the guy behind him was a senior. And I'm a true freshman. So I'm 18 years old. I'm watching them. They're 6'2", 6'3". These are big guys, transfers from big schools like Louisville. And so I'm already battling like, damn, I'm 6 feet. Am I in the right position? But after that, it was, all right, they just gonna have to show me they're better than me. And they got injured, and this stuff the story writes itself.
Right.
I kind of don't really like going into that. I know you was trying to get me out of doing these one-liners, but it really is nothing much to that.
But you did good going into it, because what I'm trying to show people the pattern of is how you see an obstacle and you look at it, you observe it, you assess it, and then you begin piece by piece picking it apart, working through it, and but that's good. So how did the next 3 or 4 years in college, how did that go for you on that team?
It went good. I mean, it was more just sticking to the script. My first year after the season, I was starting to trip up because it was a lot of freedom. Yeah, I was away from home, two or 3 hours away from home, so I had a lot of freedom. So I had to adjust. So we're going out partying and come back late, and you got to manage your time. So I had to adjust to that. So my grade started slipping, and I had to make a decision. I was like, look here, I can keep doing what I'm doing and fail and go back home, in which I don't want to do, in which there's nothing back home for me, or I can buckle down, get my grades right, and continue to play football because this is what I want to do. So I had to sacrifice. Time and friendships, and in order to be where I needed to be where I wanted to be. So I had to go to the library. I had to study more. I had to block off time. I would walk past my teammates. They sitting hanging out in the front of the dorms and chasing girls. But I got a backpack on, going to the library to study for like 2 or 3 hours. And ironically, that stuff, I would be the guy they copied during test time. They copying off my paper during test time now. And so these are guys that you got to sacrifice and put the work in. And so there's just a lot of lessons that I learned in that, and I just try to build on it and not let it slip. But as always, that temptation is going to be there to just do what the flesh wants, chase girls, drink do everything besides what you're supposed to do. So, and that just leads to, and that was a quote that, like I said, Frog, man, he has a lot of quotes, and I kind of refer back to those. It's to have an uncommon life, you have to have uncommon disciplines. Man, he told me that, man, that it just hit so hard. And it's like, man, that is the truth. Even in this walk, in the way of the truth is the life that we aspire to have is uncommon because we're the remnant. We are the remnant, and the common folk, the common folk gonna burn. So you got to have uncommon disciplines, and so that's every day. You wake up, spend time with the Father, check in with the Father every day. First and foremost,
Right.
Those are uncommon disciplines that most people are not willing to do. So I learned that the quote from Frog, man. But prior to that, that was the life that I led. I want to have a life that's not common, because the common life that I grew up with, I didn't want that for myself.
And when, so what would you say it is in people? Laziness, or that most people aren't wired up like that? What would you say causes that? Or
Yeah, I would say laziness, and people. It's just the flesh. The flesh wants what it wants, man. The path of least resistance, and you want to have all fun all the time, but you don't want to do the things to set you up for success because it takes work. Dr. Dower, he preaches on it all the time. You got to put the work in. You got to
right,
put the work in. And Pastor Muir, he echoes that to the utmost. You got to put the work in. Don't take the easy out. So these are things that I listen to them, I draw from it, and I try to emulate as much as possible.
right.
You say maximize the positive, minimize the negatives, man.
So what? Another thing that I'm noticing through this your journey thus far is that you, just in the sense of your football career, you have this sense of vigilance of kind of taking a step back and looking at everything. You know, not just kind of mindlessly going through things. You're aware, you're vigilant. You know, so that's something I kind of see. Um, so senior year comes, senior year season's winding down. The whole NFL's coming after you. What's going on?
Man, hell no. Uh, like I said, you play for HBCU, so the motto or the slogan for HBCU players is you have to do twice as much to get half as far. And in order to even get a sniff from the NFL coming from the HBCU ranks, you got to do some stuff, man. You really got to do some stuff. And I always said I wanted to be an NFL player, but the actual reality of that was, bro, you come from HBCU. So just be happy if you get an opportunity. And that was really, I wrapped my mind around that. And after my senior year, you would get a few scouts here and there. They would come. I had to have it's called a pro day. And that's really a showcase for the NFL, the scouts or whatnot. And I got that off of a favor from my agent. So he knew a few scouts in the NFL, and so he had a pro day, and they came out and saw me. So obviously they look at me and say, well, this guy's 6 feet, 235 pounds. So what do you want me to do with him? Because NFL defensive ends are 6'5", 280 pounds. And it was just give him a shot. And so I got an opportunity, made the most of it, but it was definitely not a lot of people tugging that at my shirt string to go and play for their team in the NFL.
Okay. So what happened after that?
Yeah, so I got a pro day, and they looked at really my senior year, the production or whatnot. And so they drafted me in the 5th round, Indianapolis Colts. And I get to Indianapolis, and one of the older guys, the defensive end, the guy in front of me, we was having casual conversation, and he mentioned that I was a camp body. So what's a camp body, you ask? So a camp body is somebody that they bring in to take all the reps and do all the heavy lifting during training camp because they're going to cut you. They brought you in just to cut you. And so when I found out what that meant, I was on a mission to take his job, you know. So whatever goes into that goes into it.
So real fast, how does that, in order to qualify for the draft, you have to have a pro day, or you could just go in the draft, but that nobody know who you are if you didn't get a pro day?
Well, most guys that get drafted, they go to something called the combine, which is in Indianapolis. It look like a big damn whatever. I'm not going to go there, but it's just a combine. You just go. It's a showcase. You run 40-yard dashes. You lift weights and see a lot of doctors and all this stuff. But those are pretty much the guys they're telling you these are the guys that we're going to draft.
So you have to be invited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, got you.
So I want to say there were like 200 or so, 200, 300 guys at this combine. So mind you, there are thousands of guys that come out every year trying to get into the NFL.
Wow.
But they're just going to pretty much pull from this pool of 200-300 guys. So a lot of dreams get dashed every year when it comes to professional athletics and things of that nature. But yeah, I didn't get an invite, but they strictly went off the game film and they gave me a shot. So they drafted me in the 5th round. And
how did they find out about you? From your pro day? That's how they knew who you even were?
Yeah, that, and I also had to make my own highlight tape, in which that's kind of unheard of because most guys, they have a video team. Big schools, they do it for the player. So I literally had to do the manual labor of doing it myself. And this was VHS. So so I had to do it myself, just kind of put it out, but it was what it was. And I was able to get that one opportunity.
And you said, so we fast forward, that's the Colts, and they said you were a camp body, and then, and you said you were going to set out to disprove that. So what was the first? What was your strategy? What did you do?
Well, control the controllables, which was my behavior, my attention, my attendance, and me knowing what I'm supposed to do at the time I'm supposed to do it. So I go there and just trying to learn as much as I can, as fast as I can. Because the difference between every level, high school, college, and pros is the rate of the turnover rate, the mental, in the mental. So you're able to learn the playbook, process the playbook, and then apply the playbook. And that really just in life, the most successful people are the ones that can turn over mentally the information that they're given. So getting there, so I had to learn what the vets were doing, but I also had to do scout team, right back to 10th grade, scout team, and we say JV type, they send you up for failure. So you got to get out here, run over here, let these O-linemen just tee off on you, and until you learn what's going on. So now the next time around, I can adjust and process and then just perform on the field and just try to earn a spot.
So when you got drafted on the Colts, it wasn't like I've arrived, I'm in the NFL. It was like now the work really starts.
Yeah, absolutely. To much is given, much is required, because everybody wants your position. Everybody wants to be in the spot that you're at. Like I said, there's a few hundred guys every year that gets the opportunity to, I guess, live out their dreams in the NFL or whatever professional ranks or whatever. But the second you come in is the second they're trying to replace you with younger and cheaper. So just like in this walk, okay, the second you get the Holy Spirit is the second the attack begins.
Right.
Warfare begins. We'll say Ecclesiastes 8:8. There's no discharge in this war. So the first time you help cast out a demon, or the first time you get the Holy Spirit, no, it's on and popping now, and it ain't no rest. It's
Right.
on. So you get in that field. So you got guys that they bring in every week to try out for the team to replace you, and more times than not, they're going to walk these guys right past you. You're going to the practice field. They coming off the practice field. And it's a play on the mind. They want you to see these guys coming to replace you, to get the most out of you. But if that's what motivates you to keep your job, then you're not going to be there very long.
So your first year with the Colts, did you start? Did you play in any games?
I played special teams, and like I said, it was more scout team and practice. But and it was like a specialty, like third down type of deal. So I played maybe 12 to 15 plays a game. But I didn't start until my fourth year. So year 4,
Wow.
which is the year we went to the Super Bowl 2006. So I came in 03. So I didn't start my fourth season, which was the 06 season. And that was really I was a full-time starter at that point. But
So
it was just earning your stripes.
so when you got to the NFL, at what point did you begin see how fast it was? Because I'm sure it was before you got in your first game.
Oh, absolutely. It was the first practice. You would see go there, and they would always say these guys are just bigger, faster, stronger, and coming from like I said, HBCU, they always say these guys are just these big mythical guys, but that's not the case. The only thing is every level that you go up is how fast they adjust. The adjustment period is lightning fast in the NFL.
What do you mean adjustment?
So in high school, you can just simply be better than somebody, your opponent, and you could just, for the whole game, the guy they won't adjust, whether it's coaching, whether it's the player. But but in college, it could be, okay, in the first or second quarter, you're dominating, but the third and fourth quarter, they've adjusted. So they're taking away what you like to do best.
Okay.
So the NFL, you can start off the first series, which is the first 4 to 8 plays. The next time you go back on that field, they've adjusted.
Wow.
So now you have to adjust to the adjustment. So it's like I say, it's all mental. So what do you do in this situation? Situational awareness. So what do you do in this situation? They take it away. All right. How am I going to get back to doing what I want to do? So I'm going to do B, C, D in order to get back to A. So we always say it's chess, not checker. So you gotta think 3, 4, maybe 5 moves out.
So what you're saying? So they weren't bigger, faster. They just adjusted. You saying they were more? It's more strategic in the NFL. It's not so much the speed or anything.
Yeah, and I would say this: it's not the best guys that's in the NFL. There's a lot of politics involved, but it's really who the scouts and they play a lot of favorites, because you go to college with a lot of guys, albeit they mess it up for themselves with bad decisions, but you will have guys in the NFL like, how the hell did he make it to the league? Because this guy's some shit, man. And that's just the real talk. But these guys, they're able to process. They know how to play the game, and they have enough ability to be around. So it's a lot that goes into it. People, and more than meets the eye. A lot goes into it. So
Okay. And something you said, um, talk, relate, or can you relate what you just said spiritually, where you talk about, because it's like you'll see saints struggling with stuff, with strongholds and stuff like that. And do you see a link with the way you adjusted when you played football to, is there a direct correlation to that in the spiritual overcoming strongholds and stuff like that?
Absolutely. It's okay. What did the person that overcame it, what did he do? And what do I need to do in order to achieve that? So if I'm dealing with rejection or stubbornness or being stiff-necked, what's the example in front of me? What mental reps did I take from the guy that got free from that? And am I willing to apply that? So, like I said, I'm around Pastor Muir a lot, like a lot, and I sit and listen to him when he teaches, even like our car rides, and he listens very intently to Pastor Dowell. So whatever Pastor Dowell is saying is because he lived it, and he's trying to teach us. He's trying to sharpen the learning curve for us, so we don't have to go through this stuff. So if it's deliverance or how to identify it, and once you identify whatever stronghold or principality that you're dealing with, how do you attack it? Fasting, praying, exposing the enemy, getting around the brothers, fellowship, things like that. That weakens the enemy. So, and it's about, are you simply willing to do that? Or are you going to insulate the enemy?
Right. That's good. That's good. All right. So you said you didn't start till your fourth year. What took 4 years for you to begin starting? What was the process going up into that?
Well, they were stuck on this whole height and weight thing. So I always, the guys that we trained, Pastor Muir and myself that we train, we tell them a lot. You are a luxury until you make yourself a necessity. And what I mean by that is, okay, in that building, everybody in that building is replaceable. So what things are you going to do to make yourself irreplaceable, or to make this coach say, I must have this player, I need this player, versus I want this player? So that pretty much goes into it, and you just kind of you got to attack everything from a need mindset, a need basis, because in this walk, luxuries, man, that stuff is few and far between, man. It's really not going to get entertained much at all.
So by your, like, but in your third year, were you like this super insanely rich NFL superstar by then, or what?
No, sir. No, sir. They say, well, in the NFL, you don't really make your money until your second and third contracts, and that's if you're not a first or second round player. I was fifth round, so the signing bonus I got was 75, 100 grand, and I thought I was rich, but I think that money went real fast, and you're the youngest of six, and everybody that you came up with think they got 100 grand because you got the 100 grand, so that money went real fast. But yeah, that fourth season, the season I became a starter, is when they gave me a second contract. So now you're able to do more things, and you got more strongholds, more temptations, more family pulling on you, more this, more that. And so that was an issue in itself. But yeah, the fourth season, becoming a starter, that's when you start to see, okay, what this NFL life is like, the I guess the glitz and the glory side of it. But the first 3 years is you just earning your stripes. And I know Pastor Muir can back me up on this. It's like, man, we was in the mud. We're doing scout team. We're doing all this. And
So what did they see from their vantage point? What did they actually see? They saw you learning the playbooks and developing, like when you're on scout team, I guess you're able to get around their offense and get to the quarterback even on a scout team. Is that what they were seeing?
Yeah, they would see it, but mind you, I played with Peyton Manning, so you can't come too close to that quarterback at the time or they cut you. But it's about
Wow.
oh yeah, absolutely. So it's about from the time they bring you into that building, they're monitoring you. So they watching your manner of life. They watch how you interact with from the janitor all the way up to the owner of the team. They watch
Wow.
everything. They have video. They watch how you operate in practice. When you're not taking your reps in practice, they watching you stand in the back, whether you're lollygagging or you watching taking mental reps from the guys in front of you. They watch all this stuff. So
So you were locked in the whole time.
you just got to understand the situation around you.
Okay.
Like I know that whenever we're in that building, we're being watched. Everybody, then you got people that they hire as informants. We call them informants, but
Wow.
these are just front office people. So, and it's just we use it. They use it as a ROI, which is a return on investment. Anybody that they bring in that they're going to put or potentially give millions of dollars to, they want to know any and all things about this person, this player.
All right.
Your medical history, your family history. They know stuff about your mom and everything. So before they give you or trust you with their money, they're going to get as much intel as they can from you.
Okay. So 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 they saw what they needed to see from you all around, and then the fourth year, what, somebody retired, or how did what do you think the event was that moved you in, or
No, it was that was my contract. My rookie contract was expiring, so they had to make a decision to give me another one. And if they were to give me another contract, they had to get a return on their investment. So I had to be the starter. And the guy that I was up against, he was 1 year ahead of me, so they gave him a contract as well, but they moved him to a different position.
okay.
Yeah, so everything is about business. In the league, they sell brotherhood, fraternity, family, and all this stuff, but when it's all said and done, it's business, strictly business.
So your fourth year, you're a starter, you in the game for real now, and so how'd that first year go?
Shit, it went awesome. We went to the Super Bowl and won it. But
Dang.
yeah, but it was more so coming off the high of being a starter in the NFL and just being okay with that, and just be the player that I wanted to be, that I saw myself being, and I wanted to be dominant. I wanted to be the best that I could be. And so with that, you have to do the little things. You have to sacrifice time with the family. You have to sacrifice hanging out with your friends and all this type of stuff. So, and I was willing to do that.
So let's talk about that real quick. And you pretty much said it. It's not it, in your free time. You just spent money and lived like a baller and made it rain, or what were you doing in your free time?
It was a little bit of that foolishness, but a whole lot of regrets. But the mistakes weren't big enough where I couldn't recover, as Pastor Dowell says. And like I said, that's humbling yourself enough to listen to wise counsel. And the guys that's done it before, are you gonna, like I said, humble yourself to apply what they're telling you? You're gonna bump your head. You're gonna make mistakes here and there. But once I did that, learn from it, then just made a conscious decision not to revisit those same mistakes. But in the end, it's just learning from your mistakes. Everybody gonna make mistakes in their youth. And what do you do from that point forward?
So, you know, yeah, that makes sense. So going in when you went through that season immediately, like that season where you made it to the Super Bowl and that was your starting season. So that first year, that's when you began to consistently get all those sacks and really make that name for yourself.
No, it was my second year. It's
Oh, okay.
you have to play the hand that you're dealt. My first year, I went in and that I got maybe like I said, 12 to 15 plays a game, and I didn't know how to adjust. I didn't because everybody would like to get into a groove with whatever it is that you're doing. You want to get into a groove to get the rhythm of it, and it's kind of hard to do that when you go in playing spot duty. And my second year, I realized, hey, this is the hand you're dealt. So if you're gonna be around, you better know how to play this hand. So, and with
Mm-hmm.
that, I had to trust. I had to trust the process, which is okay. The stuff that I'm doing in practice, and it works against a guy that knows me, which is my teammate, is gonna work in a game against a guy, against an opponent that does not know me. So I have to go in and trust the process and do this particular move. And so I was able to go from 3 sacks, 3 quarterback sacks in my rookie year to 10 and a half my second year. And then my third year was 11. And then it was off and running then. So that they wanted to get me on the field more. That was the real reason that they made me a starter.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, in the NFL, it's about you got to get to the quarterback in my position. So
So the fourth year, you were starting and you were able to get in a serious groove, and your sacks went up even beyond that.
yeah, I mean, it stayed around what it was, but I was able to be more of a factor on the
Okay.
defense, just being on the field more. So
Okay.
that was pretty much the big difference.
Okay. That makes sense. And from there, it was pretty much the years after that. It was consistently, for the most part, that right
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
now. So now you're a celebrity. You're a NFL star, well known name. You got the money, everything like that. By then you had your family, right?
Right.
And
Well, that was a little later. Later, so I say 2011, 2012. So this is early 2000. So I was still kind of rolling.
so as the years went on, at what point, how did the Most High begin drawing you? What was the earliest inkling you can remember where the Most High was really beginning to pull you at that point in your life while you were in the NFL?
I would say 2014, and that was
Okay.
really I had a real urge to know where did I come from prior to slavery. Like all I knew because I love history. I love learning about history and social studies like that. But and it just dawned on me like all I know is slavery up until this point, and it was a real burning desire to know. Okay, what about before 1619? What to the point I got what they call ancestry.com,
Mm-hmm.
and I did that, and it came back. Okay, obviously West Africa, Togo, Benin. I don't know how to say that. Togo, Benin, uh, by way of South Carolina. So I kind of traced that, and South Carolina is the Gullah Geechee people,
Mm-hmm.
and so down into Georgia, where that's where my family comes from. So now I need to go back prior to Togo, Benin, West Africa. And I'm looking at old maps and I see some stuff like Judah. The only thing I know about Judah is Israel. Why is Judah in West Africa? So I'm digging more. And mind you, this was a couple years before I crossed paths again with my friend Pastor Daniel Muir.
Now, real fast, let's talk about that real fast, and then we'll come back to this. But talk about how you and Pastor Muir met.
Yeah, he likes to tell this story. I kind of want to forget it, but he joined a team 2008. So from 2003 to 2008, I was what's that? 6 years on the team. So he joins the team. He, loud, brash. He likes to talk. He likes to talk a little trash, have fun with it. And I wasn't a fan of it. And so I told him directly. I said, "Look, I'm not a Dan Muir fan." And he looked at me. I looked at him like I said what I said, and I told him why I said it. And he took it. He processed it, and he responded. And we were cool ever since that point. But yeah, we played together. We played in the Super Bowl as well. A good man. That's my brother. That's my brother right there. That's my dude. And we kind of our paths kind of just separated. He went to different teams, and lo and behold, I retire. He comes back, and I had something called a retirement roast. That's when old teammates, old friends, or whatnot, they come back and they crack jokes and all this stuff. So he came back, attended that, and we had a conversation about, okay, what's next? What about life after football? And I told him, come over and let's talk about it, because he was doing something. It was training. He was training children and athletes, and I was interested in that. And it was the next day or shortly after, he came over to my house, and I think to this day he won't admit it, but I think he was trolling me. He had a shirt and they said Hebrew on it. And I think he was just kind of throwing that little lure out there. But he didn't know I had been kind of like on this for the last couple of years, just kind of trying to find out who I was, where I come from, things like that. And to the point, like, damn, what is this Hebrew stuff? Like, what is this Israelite stuff, And why does this apply to me? And so he came over. We talked about the shirt. We were supposed to talk about football, but we talked about that shirt. And needless to say, he truth bombed me, and I've been hanging on his shirt tail ever since.
So talk about what go more in detail how you began to transition into the truth.
Well, there's more kind of being around. At the time was Brother Dan and it was Brother Lee. These were the guys I leaned on them. I drew strength from them because I knew this was this was my truth right here. I know that something is pulling me, compelling me to go this route. I just didn't know how to go about it. And so I had to be around these brothers every day just to figure this stuff out. And so we would talk. I would listen. Trust me. I'm gonna listen to what you have to say. I'm not gonna say much, but I'm gonna listen to any and all things. And so they was talking. Then come Brother Samuel. So this was the nucleus of what Goshen is now. So I was around these guys every day, just spending time with them, just learning as much as I can, and just trying to process and weighing the cost, because it was a lot I had to weigh. And I could just say, man, I just thank Yah for having this foundation, these foundational brothers around me, because I mean, who knows? I know Yah had something for me, but they was a strong anchor in holding me down while I figured it out. So it was just learning the ways of Yah, just listening to Pastor Dow, listening to Brother Dan at the time, that's now Pastor Muir, and just trusting Yah. It was all about trusting and obeying Yah. You can't love him until you obey him.
Now, so towards the end of you were towards the end of your NFL career. You know, you were saying your mindset was beginning to like where there's signs and stuff that you were being drawn in a different direction towards the end of your career.
Yeah, I noticed my former wife, she used to say that I got real militant. Like, no, it's just I just kind of got irritated with foolishness. I was trying to find something, and it was all right. Let me look at this Jehovah's Witness stuff. Let me look at this Kemet. It was I was trying to find some Islam. I was trying to find an answer because I had a big house, I had a wife, I had beautiful children, I had money, I had cars, I had 2 dogs. I had everything by the world standard that you could dream of having. But I was miserable. I was not happy to the point like I had a pool house in my backyard, and I would go to the pool house and smoke cigars and get drunk every day, every day.
Wow.
And that was
and
really,
this is after the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, when I say right after, I had just retired because
Okay.
I didn't know. I was lost, man. I was lost, but I just knew there was something out there, and I just had an overwhelming desire to find out what is this truth, and I couldn't find it. And the more and more I searched for it, the more miserable I got. So I just prayed, called out, cried out. And mind you, I'm smoking a cigar, passed out, sitting at the poolside, but I'm calling out like, God, you show me you. Who show me you? And be careful what you ask for. because he revealed himself. And once he did that, ain't no turning back. Because I know this is the truth, is what I asked for, and I thank Yah for revealing himself to me.
So moving forward a little, you had talk about how you had got around past Muir more and just progress that forward and go into that if you can.
Yeah, like I said, on the data, so we were starting to train. We was training. I'm trying to learn how he operates as far as his training business. But at the same time, it was more I wanted to know about this whole Yah stuff, this Israelite stuff.
Now was Pastor Muir already in Straightway?
Yes, sir. He was
Okay.
already in. I want to say 2 years into it,
Okay.
and I knew Pastor. He always knew the Bible, and that's when we played. When we was players, teammates, he knew the Bible. I could give him that. I always gave him that. He knew the Bible, and so when you come to this, it's different now because Christianity, we players or whatever. I mean, he would talk, but you kind of take it with a grain of salt because I wasn't interested in trying to hear that. I was all in the flesh. I was all in me, you know. The whole vanity, ego, pride, the whole threefold cord, man. I was all the way off in it. But it was something about this because it was tugging at me. And what everything he's saying, it was grabbing. I was gravitating to it. And then he introduced me to Pastor Dow. So now I look at this video of this man talking all types of crazy. I mean, he's talking like tough talk, but everything he's saying is convicting. Everything he's saying is cutting, and I couldn't stop watching video after video after video. And it was like, look, man, Dan, I hear everything you're saying about this pastor, but I need to sit in front of him.
And what was Pastor Muir saying about Pastor Dow? What was he telling you about?
Oh, he's a man of the man of truth. He's growing his own food, training, ammo, preaching the word of Yah. He's everything that he said. I wanted to see. I wanted to see this for myself because, like I said, as men, I want to search the matter out for my damn self.
Right.
I can listen to you talk to a certain point, but I need to see. I need to see the footwork. And he just kind of chuckled and smirked and called him. And he was on the phone. He's like, my friend, he wants to come down and meet you. And you know how Pastor Dow, sure. Sure.
Come on now.
Yeah. And so we set it up. I went down there, but before I went down to visit Straightway, there was a spiritual attack like nothing else, man. Like my former wife, she tried to get physical. Like that was like the first time ever. And I didn't know a whole lot about anything as far as spiritual warfare, but I knew this was a spiritual attack. This wasn't her. And I knew something was trying to stop me from going down to see Pastor Dow. In that regards, I pushed even harder to get down there because I don't know what's going on, but I know I need to go down here now.
Mm-hmm.
So we go down there. I see the land is very peaceful. It's just like everybody testimony. They get to the gate and it's just like an overwhelming calm. It just happens as soon as you get to that gate. So I'm going down there. The first few saints that I see were not black people. So that kind of threw me for a loop because obviously you think, oh, black Hebrew Israelites, A, B, and C, all this stuff. And it was a Japanese woman, I think Sister Tomoko.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of, and then it went from that to, you see white brothers, they coming up giving me hugs, and I'm like, bruh, what you doing? Get off me, And so you see Mother Carol, she's coming saying, yes, sir, no, sir, and all this humility. And it was just so foreign to me. And I always told, Brother Muir at the time, or Pastor Muir, this is probably the best and worst thing that could have happened to me because I see this exists. And so it ain't no turning back now. So we go back to Pastor Dow's house, and we're talking, conversating. And before we leave, I asked him for prayer. Because like I said, I didn't know anything about deliverance. I don't anything at all. And he was like, about what? I asked him, can he pray for strength? He was like, no. He said no. So I was kind of stuck. I was lost. I'm like, okay, so what do we do now? And he asked me what was I dealing with. And it was a lot of anger, bitterness, rage. And he said, oh, you need deliverance. I'm like, okay, whatever that is, let me get some of that, I'm leaving here with something. I need something. So
right.
And we did deliverance. And mind you, I'm not a guy that's gonna, do the whole fake religious, touch my head and I'm gonna fall back type of deal. So
right.
I had to see. I needed something, not being wicked and looking for a sign from Yah, but I needed something. And we got deliverance and I'm sweating, snotting and all that. But mind you, right before we started deliverance, I have no service on my phone. Like, and you know this, no right. Service at all at the bottom of that hill. So as I sat down to get deliverance, my phone rings 20 times back to back to back. And it was my former wife calling.
Wow.
And it was, like I said, it was a spiritual, that spirit did not want me to get that deliverance because it knew once that happened, it's on and popping. And I turned my phone off. I got that deliverance, man, and it's been on and popping ever since, and running strong for
Hallelujah.
y'all. And man, 10 toes down, 10 toes down, flat footed for y'all. And I just think, the brothers, the leaders. I'm just so thankful and humbled just to be a part of this, man. Just to be counted in the remnant.
Now, let's fast forward a little, and because when I came in the ministry, when we started Straightway Florida and stuff, we would always have like at the feast, we get y'all to come over and talk to us and just drop some nuggets on us. We always saw y'all as like our big brothers, and because y'all were right, not too far ahead of us where we wanted to be. But talk about the Feast of Tabernacles last year, and when the leadership was lifting up new leadership, and your experience and what happened and what was going through your mind with that.
Man. Oh man, that was I couldn't believe it. Pastor Dow, he had mentioned like, okay, elder, like you're an elder, you operate in that role, but it was like, yeah, I'm looking at Elder Rufus and Elder Mitchell. These are elders, and Elder Becker. That's when I think elder, I think them, not me. I just want to be in the background. I just want to, be in the background. But I had no clue that was going to happen until it happened. He called Deacon Samuel first, and I was like, hold on, wait a minute. And so he started going into the elders, the charges for elders, and I'm like, he's not going to call me. He's going to skip over me. He's going to go to Pastor Daniel. I know he's going to get ordained. I know that. And he called my name, and it was just like, whew, just an overwhelming, like, rush. Like, man, this is heavy. This is like massively heavy. I'm humbled, and I praise Yah for him seeing me in the way that I couldn't see myself. But it was like, man, you can see right here. It was like I couldn't stop weeping. It was like so heavy, and just to be able to be in a position to obey Yah and help lead his people, I'm going to forever keep myself humble and at his mercy.
Hallelujah.
And that he speaks through me. Every word that he says, that's what I'm going to say. Nothing more, nothing less.
Hallelujah.
But no, it was, man, it was a special feast. Every one of them is special. The best feast is the next feast, right?
Right.
But no, that one, man, we'll never forget it. And I just praise Yah for each and every day in Israel.
Yeah, and what I told Pastor after after they lifted all those brothers up to leadership positions, I was like, man, I was surprised, but then after it happened, I was like, well, I should have seen that, because everyone who got lifted up, my interactions with them, they always function as some type of leader to me. Every single person, like Brother Chris Paul, like I can remember everybody up there giving me advice from that level, like an elder or a pastor or whatever, So yeah, man, it made a lot of sense to me. So, but yeah, man, Elder Rob, what else do you have?
Oh, I mean, you asked me, what did the NFL take from me?
Yeah, that was a question I was gonna ask. Two questions, okay, concerning the NFL. Let's go with it this way: is what's the side of the NFL that people don't see? Because I know after talking to you know, and we have multiple brothers that played in the NFL, like Kabir, Pastor Muir, TJ, yourself. And when you find out what goes on behind the scenes, it's not all glitz and glamour and fun and all that. So what's the side of the NFL that people don't see?
Man, I would say, well, the part that they see is Sundays, just the game day. Outside of that, okay, what you put your body through, and that's the aches and pains. You every day you have to wake up, almost like warm up your feet just to walk to the bathroom, that type of stuff, and then dealing with snakes, just malicious people, and on the field and off the field, in the building, outside the building, that's trying to get you, take your money, manipulate you, extort you. It's a lot of that. It may not be in a financial sense. Only in a financial sense, it's you can have women they're trying to get pregnant. What we call it trap babies, extort you, especially in the social media age. People just are trying to pull from you to the point where you can really lose yourself. And that's you have family, friends, homeboys, that people that they think they're entitled to your lifestyle without putting the work in that you put in, and just a whole lot of nigga shit. Just a whole lot of nigga stuff, man. And when it comes to in the front office, people that, like, I've never really been around white people until I got to Indianapolis, with the Colts or whatnot, and it was a culture shock because I'm used to, like I said, inner city, just people. We just been a lot of niggas, and we just operate a little different. And then you just have to adjust and have to learn a lot of stuff that you should have known in your youth that you didn't know, but you got taken advantage of because of your ignorance. And the politics, how people would just, the politics and the networking, okay, they would take this guy, although he's not better than you, but because I'm more comfortable having a beer with this guy, I'm gonna take him over you. That type of foolishness is not always the best guy that they take, is the best guy for them. And so they would a lot of people get screwed over in that regards. So that's the bulk of it. Just how everybody is pretty much a snake. It's really just, very few people, like the relationship that Kabir and Pastor had in Green Bay. That was very rare. You know, for Elder Kabir to talk, to tell, stand flat-footed and tell the truth in that locker room like that, as far as like everybody, all y'all going to hell. You're not going to get guys that's gonna really bring truth like that, because it's about what I can get at the time I can get it, what I can do, put myself and my family in position to be set for life. Because most people are not gonna stand on truth. They're gonna tuck their tail, man. Gonna say whatever they need to say, and that's from in the presence of the team owner who's a billionaire.
Wow.
To all the way down to whoever it is that they're gonna do whatever they need to do for themselves.
And as far as I knew, because again, I didn't know a whole bunch about football, but I know you take hard hits there. But until I talked to you and Pastor Muir and some of the other brothers, I didn't know how damaging it really is and how sore you can really be after the game. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I've had 17 surgeries throughout my career. Yeah, so it's like a lot of injuries are lifelong. So, but the restoration of all things, right?
Right.
That's when you got to trust Yah. He's gonna restore it all. But you have injuries, you have concussions, you have nerve injuries, like we call them stingers. So I have throughout my career, I had a whole lot of singers where you hit somebody and the nerve just shoots all the way down that whatever arm, left or right arm. Lower back injuries. Man, I have a medical file is this thick, and it's just full of injuries. So that's part of it. Everybody say this is what you signed up for, but hey, that was the meal ticket. That was the way out, right?
Right.
So they use us for entertainment, sports, and all the foolishness, right?
Talk about your life now and the purpose and fulfillment you have and the effect that it's going to have on those around you and on those to come after you.
Oh man, I thank y'all for knowledge of the past, wisdom of the present, and understanding of the future, because I know he put me in position. I know one thing for sure. I'm in this position to take a lot of excuses off the table for a lot of saints, as far as like having to give up something, because I've given it all up. And so if the Messiah had to give it up, what makes you think you're not going to have to give up something? If Pastor Dow had to give it all up, if Pastor Muir had to give it all up, what makes you think you're not going to have to pay a cost, sacrifice something? And I just thank y'all that, he called me to be in this position in this daytime and hour, and just help in any possible way to just give wisdom, sound advice, and just show people through action. Like, I'm not a man big on words, but when I see strength, I'm gonna follow strength. And I know that's the biggest example that I can give is my walk. So I'm gonna follow them that follow Messiah. And I know people are gonna, there's gonna be eyes on you and things like that, but hey, that's what we're here for. That's what we signed up for, right?
Right. All right. Yeah, I could tell by comments this is an awesome show. Brothers and sisters definitely got plenty out of this. Elder Rob, did you have anything else you wanted to bring out?
No, Hebrews 6:15. And so after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. That is a verse that resonates, and it really hits. So patiently endure to obtain the promise, because it's coming, because he said it.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, so definitely an awesome show. A lot of good information came out. I'm sure I could tell by the numbers in there now, this is going to go pretty far. A lot of people going to be checking this out. Hopefully it edifies other brothers and sisters out there. So we're going to take it out with something, Elder Rob, I hear you like to imitate me. You like to imitate old Michael Israel's intros and outros. So since you're a good imitator and everything, why don't you take the show out in Michael Israel style?
I appreciate y'all. Bless y'all. Straightway. Hallelujah. Bless y'all.
All right, hey. And don't forget, subscribe, hit the like button. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. And with that said, y'all, shalom, shalom.
Don't let Babylon break you. Don't let them break your soul.
In time, stay woke, it's going down.
We gonna wake up the tribes. Bible willing.
What you cooking?
Last days. Yeah, we about to wake up the tribes. Armageddon at the doorstep. Stay woke, it's going down. Babylon trying to break me. I need the Holy Spirit right now. We about to wake up the tribes. Spare not, cry loud. Yeah. We about to wake up the tribes. In time. Stay woke, it's going down. Babylon trying to break my soul. Holy Spirit, come down. We about to wake up the tribes. Spare not, cry loud. Yeah. We about to wake up the tribes. We in the truth, now they scared of us. They knew that Jacob would rise. We don't want problems, we just want to do the laws, praise the Most High. But if it's on, then it's on. Got angels with us when it's wartime. I pray we get back to Zion. We about to wake up the tribes. I can't fall for no false doctrine. I want it straight out the Bible. Tell me what scripture is that. Give me the truth with no feelings attached. We just gonna give them the facts. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. I cannot sit and relax. I had to go to the end. Run it back. I had to go to the end. Couldn't let up if I wanted to. On the interstate, bumping toward two. Not ashamed of the gospel. I got faith, I sure do. Yeah. We about to wake up the tribes. Armageddon at the doorstep. Stay woke, it's going down. Babylon trying to break me. I need the Holy Spirit right now. We about to wake up the tribes. Spare not, cry loud. Yeah. We about to wake up the tribes. In time. Stay woke, it's going down. Babylon trying to break my soul. Holy Spirit, come down. We about to wake up the tribes. Spare not, cry loud. Yeah. If the Father for us, how we gonna lose? Done talking, time to show and prove. No half stepping, I'm a whole brew. Get the beam out your eye. If the blind lead the blind, where we going to? We turn the lines when under pressure. We just been keeping it cordial. They gave us chains in the slave name. Never told us we was royal. Now we getting our houses in order. No religion, I follow the Savior. Only Messiah can save us. Some say it's a fairy tale, but our faith will never waver. Scripts jumping off the pages. What? We about to wake up the tribes. Armageddon at the doorstep. Stay woke, it's going down. Babylon trying to break me. I need the Holy Spirit right now. We about to wake up the tribes. Spare not, cry loud. Yeah. We about to wake up the tribes. In time. Stay woke, it's going down. Babylon trying to break my soul. Holy Spirit, come down. We about to wake up the tribes. Spare not, cry loud. Yeah.